Hello and welcome back to On Each Side of a Fern. That's a joke, obviously. Hopefully you get that. Welcome back to Process Beats Talent. We are super excited. We are going to be probably keeping with the theme of influence because it's really what Chase and I are studying right now. But as we said in past episodes, influence is huge. Influence, in my mind, is probably the number one sales and life skill that people can have and people are lacking.
Yeah, no, I totally agree. I think it's what everybody's focusing on now too, right? Social media has really brought it around. Everybody wants to be an influencer. And I think, but what we're shooting for is a little bit different than that, right? We're not just trying to be out there on social media. We're trying to learn the skills that make us better at connecting with people, ultimately, right? Like at the base form.
Yep, exactly. So in one of those things today, we're going to kind of talk about one of the more core things in sales. And it's definitely something that you need to understand if you want to be good at influence, because to be able to be an influencer from a sales perspective, not from a social media perspective, right? You need to be doing things that are going to require you to change current behaviors and sometimes make yourself uncomfortable.
Yeah, there's a quote out there that if you, I'm gonna screw this up. I don't remember exactly what the quote is, but basically we all need to get comfortable being uncomfortable. If you want to grow in whatever you're doing, whether it's exercise, that's a really good example, right?
Yep.
You got to be if you want to build muscle, you got to get uncomfortable because it's the pain that drives that, and it's the same thing in sales or influencing or whatever it is you're trying to do. If you want to grow, you have to be uncomfortable.
Yep. So a lot of people often think, they're like, why is change so hard? Because my brain should be behind me, right? Like you go to an event and it's inspirational. You read a book, it's inspirational. You listen to a podcast or you listen to something, you see something, you hear something, it inspires change in you. And you're like, wow, I'm going to do this. I'm going to change my behaviors. I'm going to get my butt out of bed. I'm going to go to the gym. But then the morning comes and you hit that snooze button. Why is that, Chase?
Well, in the simplest form, you have two sides of your brain. You have system 1 and system 2. System 1 side of your brain is help me out here.
So I think we need to talk about system 2 real quick, right?
Yeah. I guess we can start with system 2.
Yeah, because system 2, like I said,
that's the one that's building you up. That's when you're learning and you're out there and I'm going to do this. I'm going to make these changes, and it's there to support you and to build you up and drive you. And
then system 1 steps in, is like, no, that sucks. Change sucks. I hate change. We're not doing it. That's uncomfortable. My goal, system 1, is to keep you comfortable, to keep things status quo. And so your brain is trying to help you, but you have system 1, system 2 that are combative, trying to change and trying to keep things the same.
And the reason that is we have our brain is actually, and we've talked about this before, but our brain is actually we have the reticular activating system, and that is designed to give us comfort, right? So no matter what we think, that part of our brain goes out and it tries to find, or not just tries, but it will find ways to give you comfort, right? So if you want to get up early in the morning, I'm going to get up at 5 o'clock, right? And that alarm goes off, and man, if I just had 5 more minutes of sleep, then that part of your brain kicks in. And it's like, yes, let's do that. We're going to be there. We're going to put all this off. And so it's the same thing. Anytime that we're trying to push ourselves to make ourselves uncomfortable, we have that one part of our brain that is saying, no, we're not going to do that. Yeah, we're gonna hang out here for a while and be comfortable and warm and not get out of bed.
Yep, exactly. Okay, so we have our system 1 and system 2, which are going back and forth, trying to evoke change, trying to keep it the same. And that can be a dangerous thing, because if you have health complications stemming from a bad diet, system 1's trying to screw you over. It doesn't want you to change, want things to stay the same. And so how do we really make a serious change in our life if we're trying to change behaviors?
Yeah, and that's the thing, right? So you need to stop just trying to change the behavior. This is kind of where we get into self-reflection, or and trying to figure out where that comes from, right? Like we have to understand our beliefs and we have to rewrite it on that level. So an easy way to think about it is diet when you're growing up, right? Like I grew up in the country, you know, and Sunday dinners were amazing, right? All the family would get around for Sunday dinner. We'd have mashed potatoes, we'd have some sort of meat, and just this table full of food. And so for a lot of years, for me, that's a comfort thing, right? And so, you know, that when I eat like that, when I see a meal like that, that brings back those memories and it gives me comfort. And so, you know, weight is something that I have to watch, and I've learned to work with it really well. But for a number of years, I struggled with it, but I had to understand those beliefs and figure out where that was coming from before I could make the change in my diet, right?
Yep. And now the same thing in the next episode, we're going to talk about sales reluctance. And so we'll talk about this in the future, but just kind of a brief snippet there. And with change in life, when you're changing behavior, like Chase said, you have to figure out what is the belief that is centered around that behavior. You have to change the belief. And so with anything, you have to look and say, okay, what in my past has set myself off in this direction on this behavior, and really try to change that. And I know that's not a simple answer, but life is not simple, right? Life is complex. Life has complexities that make it interesting and challenging. But if we can really look and analyze ourselves, maybe it's seeing a counselor, maybe it's talking to a friend, but figuring out what is driving our behaviors through our beliefs, and really rewriting our beliefs at that level so that we can then adjust and modify our behaviors. Because really, to have success in any facet of life, business, weight loss, personal health, whatever it is, we have to be able to drive change and drive through our behaviors.
Yeah, absolutely. I think I know this is a broad topic and we're covering in a short period of time, but neither one of us are psychologists, right? Like we just want to give you the root, give you something to work on, something to think about, and ultimately, you know, we all have to do the work on our own. Like you have to figure when it comes, you know, Monday morning and I need to make, you know, 40 outbound calls, you know, for my job, like I need to know what's going to stop me from doing that. And I need to understand that so that I can make that change. And as you do that, those tactics, those things, those everyday things that you need to do to make your life better, they become easier.
Yep. So piggybacking on that, when it comes Monday morning and it's time to make those calls or whatever day it is, and you feel that beginning of reluctance, stop yourself and say, oh geez, I'm feeling like I don't want to do this. Now, then kind of what's the word I'm looking for? Kind of just study yourself and think like, okay, what is driving this? What in my belief system is driving this reluctance? And we're going to be, you know, specifically because we're not here to talk about weight loss, we're here to talk about sales. Definitely tune into the next episode, because we're going to be talking about some ways to be able to get over if you have reluctance in changing a behavior in terms of feeling okay about outbound calls or stop-by visits or whatever it is in your life, in real estate or sales in general, that is stopping you from changing a behavior that can drive new business and new leads.
Yeah, absolutely. The next one's going to be fun, and it really piggybacks with this one well. So tune in. We appreciate you stopping by today. Looking forward to the next episode. You know, Process Beats Talent. Like the Facebook page, follow, turn on your notifications so you know when we upload a new video.
Yep.
We appreciate any feedback that you have, and we hope you have a great day.
Yep, this was a short one. We'll see you next time. Thanks, guys.